You're watching IntoWineTV, and we're here in Napa at Crushpad, and we're tasting the 2008 Calicaro Liberty Bridge Pinot Noir. And the name comes from the family who spends half their time in California, half their time in South Carolina. And this is a Pinot Noir from the Sonoma coast. What do you think?
I think this would be a real crowd-pleasing Pinot Noir. It's got nice cherries, kind of a little bit of sour cherry on the palate, some good candied fruit, nothing offensive here. It's a little simple. Perhaps it's 2008 too, so perhaps a year or two in the cellar brings out some complexities. But it's easy to drink. It's got a lot of good deliciousness, which is, that's good. So I like it.
I'm not wild about it. It's a crowd pleaser probably, but it's not a pleaser to me, particularly because apart from the color's beautiful. And the nose is sweet, sort of Pinot. It's got a good nose, but it's just too alcoholic on the nose for me. It's got good varietal, but one of the things they specify in their notes is that they like to reflect terroir. Well, I don't see that coming through. It's reflecting Pinot character, but certainly not any terroir that it could be picked out in the world. If it's too alcoholic, it's masking all the terroir. On the palate, it's sweet. It's tannic. It's pithy. I don't know what I mean pithy. Someone said yes, I do, but no, pithy. Like the inside of an orange peel is pith, and that's sort of that tannic drying effect on the mouth. It's a fruity drink. It's alcohol, though, I think detracts from the wine, and it's okay. I wouldn't buy this myself, but a lot of people in bars late at night would drink this happily, probably.
I don't actually taste the alcohol quality as much, even though it is 14.8. In fact, it just seems a lot smoother than typical high alcohol. I like it.
I find it reasonably in balance. I think one point you made is it's not a food wine. This is a cocktail wine. This is wine to sit around with friends and drink and sip. I'm not sure what I would match it with food-wise. It's a little too intense cherry for salmon or the typical Pinot Noir fare. But to sit around and sip or order a glass at a bar, this would it's got it's a meal in itself, right? It's got everything you want to just sit and drink.
Yeah, the problem is at home when I'm having dinner at home, I'll go through in a typical evening probably 3/4 of a bottle of wine by myself. And
so you should invite us over. We could
certainly 2/3. And what I notice when I drink wines with 12.5% alcohol, maybe even up to 13, you can drink 3/4 of a bottle of wine and completely be unaffected by it. But you get through half a bottle of wine at 14.8% and you are actually feeling drunk, and you are regretting that you opened such a high alcohol wine. So delicious.
At least not until the next morning, right?
Well, even so, even if you're just wanting to drink more, you have to stop because you realize you've reached a limit where you can't go on drinking. And that, as I like to drink, not just I like to have a bite of food and a sip of wine, and halfway through you get drunk. So even if it's a delicious wine, it's, from my point of view, an impractical wine for my table.
Yeah, for your table. But that's what I'm saying. This is wine to share with friends. If you invite, you invite 3 of your girlfriends over, and you sit there and you each have a glass. And
if I invited 3 of my girlfriends over, my wife might leave me.
Well, that's why you need the high alcohol wine.
I would even like this in lieu of a dessert wine. It's just sort of a finisher to a nice meal.
Yeah.
More and more, actually, I'm doing high alcohol wines at the end of the meal, a Syrah or a Pinot, because instead of that sweetness, but and not as high alcohol as port, which would traditionally be at the end.
Right.
I agree. That's a good point.
You see, if I've only drunk 12.5% alcohol wine, I've got plenty of room for port. So if you have 14.8%, you can't have port afterwards. But anyway.
Well, we know that this is a great wine here. It's the Calicaro 2008 Pinot Noir. We've got a smaller bottle here, but retails for $45 for the 750. Is that that right? Does that sound about right for the price point?
It's expensive, but it's, yeah, I guess that's
For Pinot.
I think that's the going rate for Sonoma Pinot. So.
Well, thanks for joining us on the show today. We hope you will try this along with some of our other wines. We'll see you next time. Into Wine.